Well, it is the most watched election right now. Millions have voted in the crucial US midterm polls that could define America's future. Early results have begun coming in. The Democrats have shown surprising strength in the midterm elections as results trickle in. But it is unclear whether it'll be enough for them to stop the Republicans in their attempt to wrest control of the House and the Senate. As of now, the Senate race hangs in the balance, with both parties going neck and neck in a bid to gain control of the Senate, while in the House, trends show results in favor of the Republicans as the Grand Old Party is in the lead to control the House of Representatives. There are some 20 races that could determine who takes control of the House of Representatives. Let's take a look at some of them. Now, it's important to note that as of now, Republicans are leading in California, Illinois, Nebraska, Connecticut, while the Democrats are leading in Minnesota, New Mexico, Ohio, North Carolina. So getting a clear majority in either of these seats could help these parties get control of the House of Representatives. Let's now look at the races which are in favor of the Democrats. Currently, they are leading House races in Alaska, Arizona, Illinois, and Colorado. While for the Republicans, the races which are going in their favor are Florida, California, Iowa, and Georgia. In Georgia, incumbent Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock is facing Republican Herschel Walker in one of the most closely watched battles. Walker's campaign was rocked by allegations that he paid for at least one woman to have an abortion, and this could become a roadblock for him to win the seat. The results of these midterm elections will have an impact on the 2024 US presidential elections. There are expected to be a fight between the current US President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump, who recently said he wanted to be back in the White House. However, there could be some legal hurdles for the former president, as Trump faces a flurry of court cases. He is currently facing a probe for election subversion. His retention of White House records and his business affairs too are under scrutiny. All right, so as we closely track this very interesting and fascinating election, one that is likely to shape the future of American politics, we're now joined by my colleague Susan Teherani from New York. We also have with us John Christopher, political analyst and White House commentator, joining us from Washington, D.C. Thanks so much to both of you. Susan, let me begin with you. What are the key takeaways so far? Would it be correct to say that even as we are not sure at this point who is going to take control of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and it's all up in the air, the red wave that the Republicans were hoping for hasn't quite become a reality?
Yeah, that's pretty fair to say. Until late last night, really, I think that was kind of cemented that what we had anticipated, at least earlier in the night, that we might have seen some sort of red wave or red tsunami at least. That really wasn't the case. The Democrats did a lot better than many polls, at least even, anticipated. And polls really don't favor Republicans much. But polling, is another story. Moving forward, I think we'll have to wait and see. Nevada is doing pretty well for the Republicans right now. The Democrats managed to flip Pennsylvania for John Fetterman, which was a little bit of a surprise, but then, some might say not. But ultimately, I think we'll have to wait for the final results and see whether or not it's still a nail biter, but whether or not we'll have to wait for a runoff, possibly maybe in Georgia for a few weeks from now. But then the conversation is really going to move towards President Biden working with the Republicans and the Democrats and the opposition party, because it wasn't really a landslide for any party, at least not until now. And I think that's one of the takeaways if we want to talk about it today. The numbers have been extremely close, and it just shows how polarized America is right now.
Perhaps more polarized than ever before, with many even expressing fears of the possibility of political violence breaking out once the outcome of these elections becomes clear, because there is no dearth of Republican election deniers who are in fact in the race as we speak in these midterms. Susan, stay with us. We'll come back to you in just a moment, and we will discuss the crucial state of Pennsylvania that the Democrats have managed to flip and its significance. We'll discuss that in a moment, but let's first look at the big picture with John Christopher. Welcome to WION. Would you agree that the red tsunami or red wave that the Republicans were hoping for has not come about? And, you know, while the Democrats, President Biden, kept saying democracy itself was on the ballot, this was a battle for the very soul of America, they kept talking about abortion rights, there were many analysts who had pointed out in the run-up to these elections that issues like inflation had actually bested abortion. Why then do you think the Republicans have not managed to convert this into the kind of tsunami that they were hoping for? Also, given the fact that President Biden's approval ratings have only been plummeting.
Lovely to be with you. Your knowledge of American politics as a White House correspondent for Real Political News and a former Clinton appointee is really quite remarkable. I'm very impressed again, and lovely to be on WION. I will say it's two words. It's two phrases. The emperor has no clothes, and that's Trump, and Trump has no coattails. And he chose his own handpicked, very damaged candidates to support, to go into the state, to brag about them, to say we're gonna set the place on fire, we're gonna take it over again. I mean, the activities and the words that he used, that he passes on to his disciples, as I call them, his minions, really turned off the rock rib Republicans, the real classic Republicans, and certainly the independents. So Trump really put a monkey wrench into the whole thing, and I think that's what's happening, and he's damaged himself very severely for 2024.
Okay, this is very interesting. Now, you know, Donald Trump has made it all but clear that he is going to run for the White House again in 2024. And look at the kind of statements that he's already making about Ron DeSantis, ridiculing him, calling him sanctimonious. Now, does it look to you like Donald Trump perceives a real threat coming in from the Florida governor, who has won handsomely today? And is that likely to upend some of Trump's calculations?
I don't think Donald Trump, I know he's not a drinking man. Perhaps this morning he has a hangover from something else, and that's a reality check. And he's down in Mar-a-Lago, and I think he's really trying to figure out exactly where he's going from here. And DeSantis is a formidable candidate. And I think that Donald Trump is going to have to look the beast in the eye and say, am I going to be able to do this? Because he doesn't like to lose. I've known Donald Trump. I grew up a mile away from him in New York City, and doesn't like to lose. He's a vendetta expert, and he's quite a thug, I will say. And he does not want to lose, and he'll do it again, but he will not have the support. And these people who lost realize that he is damaged goods, and he damaged them.
All right, he is damaged goods, you believe, but losing control of the House could in fact be very damaging for the Biden presidency. He is going to be severely undermined. The Republicans will go out of their way to sabotage his agenda. Let's not make any mistake about that. Would you agree very quickly?
Well, I think losing the House will in a sense give Biden a lame duck presidency for 2 years, because they'll stop everything, and they'll push an impeachment, and they'll go after his son, and they'll do everything not to get anything that Joe Biden cares about, his initiatives, passed. And that's what they will do. However, remember, the Democrats just have to pick, as you said very astutely earlier, the Democrats just have to pick up 20 more seats, and they will be in charge of the House. And the Senate is looking very good right now for the Democrats.